It all begins here as block after block is molded to construct the many lovely houses that exist in Abuja, the Nigerian capital. But most interested tenants or buyers can only admire the buildings and move on. This is because the price tag is often way beyond their reach. Majority of these houses therefore remain unoccupied for so long. Sam, a journalist, has been studying the empty home trend in Abuja for some time now. He tells me these vacant buildings belong to top public servants.
They will acquire 4 or 5 houses, just as an avenue to diversify the kind of money that is circulating around them. It's a lot of money. And then those houses are lying there. They're not putting tenants there because the intention was not for profit. So they don't even need the rent that the tenants will pay. So eventually they leave office and their fallback option is to start selling off some of these houses.
Yet another angle to this empty home syndrome is the fact that these public servants do not necessarily buy the properties in their own names. Chairman of Nigeria's anti-graft agency, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Lamudi, recently revealed to the Federal Capital Territory Minister that those involved in this nefarious act do not purchase properties with bank instruments but prefer to pay for their acquisition with cash. He noted that such persons do not bother to change ownership after such acquisitions, making it difficult to verify the identities of the new owners or the sources of the fund. The anti-graft agency claims there are many of such cases pending in court.
We have a number of property cases that are under prosecution in court, and hopefully this year we would record some convictions in that matter.
But sometimes, persons fronting for actual owners of these properties outsmart them and take over the properties. And even when owners of these apartments are not outsmarted by these fronts, their domestic staff appear smarter. These caretakers often illegally rent the houses out for some quick change. Salisu, a cleaner in one of the empty mansions in the Asokoro area of Abuja, describes his master's apartment as a cash cow.
Sometimes Oga will travel abroad like 6 months. Nobody will come to the house. Then when we are hungry, all these agent people, they will come and ask, is this house for rent? We say, no, it's not for rent. They will now come tell us, say, there is a deal. Like somebody want to stay there and give us more money. For example, we can collect for only 2 months or 3 months if we know that Oga didn't come. And the time that you will come back, you come late, around that kind 10 o'clock. Sometimes we used to fear, telling them that when Oga come, it will be problem for us. But they will say, no, there is the way they will do it. There are the people that even encourage us. They call it RNG.
But the first one being pulled by the likes of Salisu sometimes goes bad. A recent experience was in the upper axis of Abuja, where some illegal occupants lost their lives. The building which they occupied was portrayed by security operatives as a hideout for members of the dreaded terror group, Boko Haram. Most Abuja workers reside in satellite towns or nearby Nasarawa State, where accommodation is relatively cheaper. But they then have to grapple with challenges of heavy traffic, crime and poor social amenities. There is, however, an option of really cheap housing within the city centre, though not under very good or particularly hygienic conditions. The Apodutse community, for instance, lies behind this estate, where the houses reportedly go for as high as 117 million naira, which is $717,000. The bumpy and tarred road into this community is lined with filth and pools of muddy water. Fidelis, a 36-year-old father of 6, pays 60,000 naira, which is about $368 for a one-bedroom apartment.
Actually, I'm not comfortable because of due to the fact that things are not moving fine. That is why we are managing ourselves here. And for we to get water, we find it very difficult. You can see our women, they used to go to the riverside and fetch water so that we can use it, even to cook to bath the children, to wash our clothes, to do all sorts of things. We find it very, very difficult.
The selling price of the many abandoned houses falls as the wait for would-be buyers continues over a long period. Many of them are eventually sold at lower values. This should ordinarily push down rents, but this estate surveyor says rents in the capital city will continue to be on the high side, except there is a social housing scheme.
The landlords tell us that they want better returns from their property. The tenants say the rents are outrageous. So both sides are complaining. The situation can be a lot better. I know my professional body, the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, had made representations to government on social housing. And I'm sure immediately government implements this, things will be a lot better.
Sam believes the way forward is increased political will by the authorities to check corruption in public circles, regardless of whose orcs is gored.
There is such a law against leaving your building unoccupied. It gives the FCDA the right to move into that building. The problem has never been, are there laws? The problem has always been, is there the will to implement those laws? The FCT minister is a friend of the next minister who probably has those buildings. Will he now move in and take over the building of his fellow minister in the executive council? He wouldn't. He will look away. The trend will stop if our anti-corruption agencies clamp down on, if the government gets serious about fighting corruption, and then you make public office unattractive.
While Nigerians wait for this to happen, the many beautiful ABUJA houses stand empty, expecting to be taken someday. Lara Munijo, TVC News, Abuja.